Thanks for watching this portion of Garage Logic on our YouTube channel, and thanks to our friends at Everest Men's Health for supporting this. Go to everestmenshealth.com to see if their team can help you with stronger energy and better health. And catch the Garage Logic podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
A week ago today, July 6th, a week ago today in the Star Tribune, on the front page, Nezhad's key issue is public safety. It's a profile of Sheila Nezhad, who appears to be the leading, well, she not appears to be, she was the top vote getter at the DFL convention and to run against Frey. And remember, the left only runs against a leftist incumbent because that incumbent is not left enough.
Correct.
And I found this, I bet you guys read it. John, did you read it over the last week?
I did. Yep, I sure did.
Did you find it as stunning as I did? It's just, it's just amazing. On a recent, and we need to focus today and go through these items because, as I said, we'll get to the tipping point part of the program in a bit. In fact, none of us are in any hurry today, are we?
No, we got nothing but time.
On a recent rainy afternoon, Minneapolis mayoral candidate Sheila Nezhad cajoled voters into her booth at the Somali Independence Day Festival, hoping her central campaign message of radically transforming the city's police system would resonate with East African voters. Quote, "The current mayor is pro-police, and he stands with the police more than the community," Nezhad told them, vowing to make bold changes if elected. "My greatest area of knowledge is public safety." We have reached a point where the top vote getter at the DFL convention is castigating the current mayor because he's pro-police.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Many who were meeting the mayoral hopeful for the first time peppered her with questions on much more than that. They wanted to know who Nezhad voted. I've kept all the whole newspapers. I didn't cut them out, so just forgive me while I turn this over. Where in the hell is it? See Nezhad. Page 8. Here's page 8. Here she is.
Watching you deal with the computer.
They asked her who she voted for. They asked her who she voted for in the last presidential election and whether she had any plans for boosting youth employment, increasing affordable housing, and helping immigrant-owned businesses that were destroyed during the unrest following George Floyd's death. As the leading mayoral candidate at the city DFL endorsement convention, Nezhad is facing extra scrutiny as she tries to sway blocks of voters who helped boost incumbent Frey into office in 2018. Nezhad, a community activist, that's all she's ever been, a community activist who works as a policy analyst for a group that helped lead the push to cut police funding, is one of 8 people challenging Frey. She's 33 years old, and her campaign is based on her community organizing experience and knowledge of public safety as she strives for more name recognition. Am I going down the wrong road giving her this name recognition, or am I going down the right road warning? We warned you about John Thompson. I'm warning you about Sheila Nezhad.
Right.
At the festival, Abdikader Muhammad, a Minneapolis resident for more than a decade, said he was unfamiliar with Nezhad. Well, we all are, because she's never done anything. She's never met a payroll. She's never been employed except in these vague public assignments.
She's never worked.
Unfamiliar with Nezhad, was unsure about lending his support after talking to her for just a few minutes. "Maybe I will vote for Jacob Frey," Muhammad said. "And me, Joe Souchere, one of Jacob Frey's biggest critics, is saying if you don't vote for Jacob Frey in the absence of a Republican candidate showing up, and currently there is none, you will rue the day you did not vote for Frey." I'm warning you. Wait till you hear the rest of this.
But how is it possible that that one Republican candidate hasn't emerged?
I went to Operation Safety Now. We've talked about them, and we've had a couple of their endorsed candidates for city council on the air. And there is no mayoral endorsement of a Republican or independent mayoral candidate because a couple have dropped out, including a fellow who was a Marine.
We talked about him.
Yeah, he dropped out. There is no.
Is it because they just realize that this isn't worth the time, the money, and the energy because they know that they have no shot?
Well, it's worth every bit of the time if they're committed people, but maybe your answer is correct. Like Mohammed Ilyas Hayuki, a father of 5 who grew up in Minneapolis, told Nezhad that the mayoral race was not a popularity contest and that the East African community would support candidates who prioritize their needs. The community is here in Minneapolis, and a lot of things happen here, Hayuki told Nezhad. I'm going to Google you and learn more about you. If you are a good person to our community, we will vote for you. Some voters have called Nezhad a single-issue candidate, but Nezhad supports rent control and economic inclusion, and which is meaningless. It's a meaningless thing to say. And believes that police and public safety also are tied to issues such as housing, youth programs, and mental health services, as Minneapolis continues to go down the drain, which are my words. As a staunch advocate for cutting police funding, Nezhad has helped lead that push through her work with Reclaim the Block, a partner organization of Yes for Minneapolis, a political committee funded in large part by George Soros, a political committee that wants to replace the police department with a new community safety agency to prioritize violence prevention, which they cannot do, and other alternative approaches such as mental health. The initiative is likely to appear in the November ballot. Now, after a decade of doing advocacy work with different community groups and organizations in Minneapolis, Nezhad wants to lead the city with absolutely no resume. None. My motto is from the streets to the spreadsheet, because I do believe that it needs to start at the streets. Nezhad said Minneapolis is at the beginning of a path to real change, to real justice right now. No, Sheila, with the likes of you, Minneapolis is on a path to complete ruin. The Minneapolis DFL failed to endorse any candidate for mayor at its June endorsement convention. Nezhad won 53% of delegate votes. Frey came in second with 40%. With a ranked choice election, the candidates have said they will remain in the race. Some voters have been receptive to Nezhad's ideas to change the face of policing, pouring money into her campaign. As of last week, Nezhad said she had raised $100,000. Meanwhile, Frey wants to properly fund the police and has rejected calls from activists to defund them. He supports the plan to create a public safety department, but opposes having the head of that department or the chief of police report to the mayor and 13-member council. While the other candidates like Sheila Nezhad continue to push for defunding the police, Mayor Frey has outlined an honest path forward through deep structural reform, safety beyond policing, and working with Chief Arredondo to recruit diverse community-minded, well, they've been ordered by the courts now to not only recruit, but to hire more police. Frey's campaign manager, Joe Radanovich, said in an email statement, the mayor's community safety plan applies a both-and approach. Asked what she thought about Democrats worrying that the defund the police message will push voters toward Republicans, Nezhad said that she is skeptical of such arguments. She said the mayor's plan of adding more police has led to more violence by law enforcement.
Oh, my God.
Well, it has not.
Oh, my God.
That's a lie. That's a lie. The defunding movement has led to more crime.
Yes.
Well, almost everything they're saying is a lie from top to bottom.
She said the mayor's plan of adding more police has led to more violence by law enforcement. That's a lie. A big reason why she is running, Nezhad said, is to end the cycle of police violence against black people. It statistically does not exist. It does not exist. And to create opportunities for residents to make decisions about how the city is run. No, we used to elect people, Sheila, to run the city. If elected, Nezhad said she plans to propose a census-style community outreach program to find out what safety means to city residents.
Oh, Jesus.
Safety to
Lord,
me,
help
Sheila,
us.
means not getting carjacked, for example.
Oh.
If you look at history, the demands like we're hearing right now to radically change the way we do safety, you don't do safety,
Do safety.
are the
Lieutenant Dan.
only thing that's going to push change, Nezhad said. If we try to be too moderate, we're just going to keep ending up in the same place over and over again. These constant cycles of police violence, there are no cycles of police violence. There are none. There are cycles of gang violence. She said that's the biggest challenge in the campaign. She had planned to launch her campaign on New Year's Eve, but postponed it when Dolal Id was shot and killed by Minneapolis police. She was supposed to have her first DFL mayoral forum in March, but that was delayed after Brooklyn Center police killed Dante Wright. Well, he wasn't killed in March, Sheila. He was killed in April, if I'm not mistaken. Each time Nezhad took to the streets as a medic. She's also a medic.
And remind me, Dalal Id, the reason he was killed by police is because he opened fire.
That's right.
On police officers, correct? Like that happened first.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
It's really been a challenge to campaign in the midst of needing to show up for community over and over again and people really being in crisis, Nezhad said. We had to figure that out. How do we split our staff time between having some folks out supporting the protesters and some folks keeping the campaign going? It's just horrible. Nezhad, who self-identifies as queer. Now, let me pause there. I think that's important. For this reason, I don't know what it means. I looked it up. I looked up the definition and did not find a satisfactory answer. I don't know what that means. Does it mean you just don't give a bleep one way or the other?
No, it means you're gay.
No, I know, but, well, whatever.
I think it means
Yeah,
you're open.
You're open to possibilities?
Right.
It's just another way of saying it. That's all it is.
Nezhad, who self-identifies as queer, was born in Fargo to an Iranian father and a Native American and Norwegian-Swedish mother. Well, she's got the diversity going, doesn't
Sure,
she?
she does.
She spent her teen years in Woodbury. The Central neighborhood resident moved to Minneapolis 12 years ago to pursue a master's degree in public policy from the University of Minnesota's Humphrey School of Public Affairs. There is no indication that she ever succeeded in that. Since then, Nezhad has been working in social justice and racial justice movements, getting her start as in lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender health and work for a group called Rainbow Health Initiative. In 2018, she helped co-found Reclaim the Block and served as board president of the Lindale Neighborhood Association. None of these things qualify you to run a billion-dollar city.
No.
What makes me different is that my experience comes from building a movement led by Black and Indigenous and POC and queer and trans and working class people, Nezhad said. It sounds like she doesn't really have any interest in the people who are actually paying the bills.
No.
Right.
Excuse me. And my experience has showed me that we can change things. We can change systems. You have no experience. You have none. You have no experience that qualifies you to be the mayor of anything, much less Minneapolis.
Can you imagine if she gets elected?
Which I think is probably a strong possibility.
You think Minneapolis is in trouble now?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm warning you, Minneapolitans. You have no city now.
Mm-hmm. And she wants less cops than we have right now.
I'm going to repeat the most
That
stunning.
can't happen.
Stunning. She's telling so she's meeting with Somalis at the Somali festival or whatever, Independence Day festival. Was that Somali on the 4th of July, meaning American independence or whatever?
I can look it up. Give me the name of it again. I'll look it up.
Somali Independence Day festival. At that festival, here's her quote. She's telling this to the people gathered around her. The current mayor is pro-police, and he stands with the police more than the community. Well,
By standing with the police, he's standing with the community.
Right.
That's what she doesn't understand.
The Independence Day of Somalia is a national holiday observed annually in Somalia on July 1st.
I see. Well, she was at that gathering.
Got it.
And she is absolutely flat out saying, can you believe that I have to run against a guy who's pro-police?
Mm-hmm.
With each succeeding mayor, you'll regret losing the last one. That's how bad it is, because the left only eclipses the left if they aren't left enough. And this is happening all over the country the closer you get to the country's tallest buildings. She's not only not very smart, she's dangerous.
And I was looking up this headline. I saw this in our absence. I believe that this is a WCCO TV story. This was posted on June 22nd. Police data currently shows 1,600 Minneapolis gunfire reports within 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Whose problem is this, Joe? Is this the left's problem, or is this all of our problem?
It's all of our problem.
Well, it's been proven that the conservative side of the aisle has no say in Minneapolis.
Nope.
No, and there's
No
no,
matter-
there's currently no conservative voice running for mayor of Minneapolis.
It doesn't matter if there were or was or not. It's not going to happen. So, what is the left? What is the former Democratic Party going to do about this? You know, and I think this is where it segues in with John Thompson.
I'm building to that because here
I
comes the
think
tipping point.
You are predicting our future. Hell, our future's here. Forget about
Where's
predicting it.
Lacey
It's here.
Johnson? Where's Kendall Qualls? Where are people that actually give a damn about this city?
Well, where's the respect for those people? Where's
Yeah,
the
that's a good
push
point.
behind? Where is the people with the brain going, oh my God, Kendall, oh my God, Lacey, brilliant men. Why don't they see that?
I don't. To me, it almost appears to be apathy in Minneapolis.
yeah,
There's no crying out from the responsible citizens.
you're right.
There's no demand for. There's no responsible people pointing out the absurdity of this foolish woman.
I think you're right, because in the last, 16, 18 months, if your eyes haven't been awakened by now, what is it going to take?
Because it's coming to you, Lake of the Isles. It's
But
coming to
search-
you, Lake Calhoun and Lake Harriet. I'm sorry.
Bidet Makaska.
Whatever.
We've had this conversation before. Our liberal friends, you and I, our liberal friends that live in the city, they had good jobs, they have property, they have value, equity. They're the ones that are putting the Ilhan Omar signs in their lawn. They're the ones voting for people like this. They stand to lose along with everybody else. What the hell are they thinking?
Mentally ill.
Well, that's a funny answer. Great
I'm
punchline.
being
but-
serious. I'm being serious. To buy into what this fool says, you have to be mentally ill.
How do you not see that your $200,000, then that's on the bottom end of the spectrum, your $200,000 home in South Minneapolis is going to be worth 110. How do you not see that future coming with these candidates?
Because these people, a lot of the people that voted this side, though, Kenny, they don't care about that.
How do you not care about
They're
that,
more
Chris?
interested in pushing a narrative of what, police reform. Because even this woman, do you really think she's behind 100% of what she's saying? She's just trying to get elected. And she probably
Chris-
knows that there's enough people that
Chris,
will cast a ballot
Come
for
on,
her.
Chris, we're talking people of the age who should be thinking of end-of-life care.
True.
And things like that, and giving an inheritance to their children and seeing their name live on. Instead, they're throwing virtually everything they've worked for, liberal or not, away down the toilet.
And she is
What are they s-
selling. She is selling, and presumably she will sell it successfully. The idea that I'm here to save you from paying your rent or having your rent increase. I'm here for economic equality. She's just a very poorly educated Marxist who has no concept of how the city should be run. She thinks it's a toy she can make malleable and change and make it happy unicorns and butterflies, and we don't want police. Well, lady, Minneapolis, please. I don't know what to tell you.
You nailed it with poorly educated Marxists, because we all learn basically the same thing. And maybe this is our racist upbringing. We all learned, Karl Marx had an idea. Here's his idea. Here's how it turned out.
Yeah, it didn't turn out. But we're racist, so we can't.
So she didn't read the portion of how Carl's idea turned out.
Yeah.
I retweeted this a couple of minutes ago from the Babylon Bee, one of my favorite news outlets. And it's got a picture of a guy sitting on a park bench and a kid standing in front of him with a backpack. And the headline reads, "You just don't understand socialism like I do," says college freshman to man who escaped socialism on a raft.
Right. That's exactly the point here.
How about the Cubans that turned a pickup truck into a boat?
Exactly. Oh, they're down there. in
Now they're
Cuba
doing it again. They're
protesting.
going crazy.
Yeah, and the president says, "Oh, it's because of COVID." Okay, all right.